some of you are new to the museum, I'm honored to tell you a little bit about Hilltop Artists. Hilltop Artists is a youth development arts nonprofit here in Tacoma that has operated deeply impactful programs since 1994 with broad community support and a track record of success. They have served over 650 students a year, ages 12 through 16, through programming, providing tuition-free glass instruction, mentorship, and collaborative leadership opportunities. This is an anti-racist work guided by justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion, with an understanding of trauma-informed care and social-emotional learning. Hilltop Artists is deeply committed to its mission to use glass art to connect young people from diverse cultural and economic backgrounds to serve better futures. This work is never more on display than when Hilltop comes here for their residency, and I'm delighted to introduce you all to Dr. Kim Keith, the Executive Director of Hilltop Artists. Dr. Keith was born and raised here in Tacoma in the Hilltop neighborhood. She's alumna of Hilltop Heritage Middle School, where Hilltop now resides. She received a PhD in sociology at Goldsmiths University in London, and most importantly to us, played a pivotal role here at the museum as one of our founding staff members. Along with many other important things, Dr. Keith developed our Remnon Hall Women's Program, which became Hilltop Artists Connect, which led to where we are today. So we're so honored to have her alongside her work at Hilltop Artists. She is a vibrant support of our community here in Tacoma, including work on the Builders Bridge, Bridge Builders Advocacy Group. And she's here today to tell you about Hilltop and the important work they're doing here this week. Thank you so much, Katie.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Katie. That was a wonderful introduction. Well, you can see the mission up there, and Katie just read through it, so I'm not going to read through it again. I'm just going to get started. As she said, we work with 650 kids a year. We started with 20 kids back in 1994, so next year is going to be our 30th anniversary. And we were co-founded by Dale Chihuly and Kathy Kaparik, who was a local gallerist. And they basically asked the school district if they could use the disused wood shop at Jason Lee Middle School for a hangout space, and that's what they did. And so here is a video. Chris, are you gonna? There we go. Give you an overview of the program.
Oftentimes people come into the program, they look at 12-year-olds blowing glass, and they're like, who thought this was a good idea? But if you set the expectation high for these kids, so many of them will reach that expectation and go beyond.
The Hilltop Artists program for glass blowing gives you something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Being involved in arts has really helped me stay focused because I really connected with it and I like it.
We've learned a lot of stuff, most of the stuff I make in here, like cups and bowls, I can use at home, and I've never been able to do that before.
What we do in working in the glass world is a very small community of people. But I think one of the things that this place does is it shows you that there's a larger, role that you can play in the community.
Before I took this glass blowing course, I did not consider myself an artist. I didn't think I was an artist. I didn't like the arts. I thought it was kind of phony. But coming into this class, I really learned how to express myself, and I was able to create things that I truly thought were beautiful. Just from my first gather, I knew it was something that I wanted to identify with and do whatever it takes to continue doing that for the rest of my life.
The program just goes kind of a step beyond what most programs do. Yes, we're an art program teaching 21st century skills in a school environment, but then we're also connecting these kids to all the social programs that they need.
Last year I was going through some stuff and I came here and I felt secure. Art has always been kind of my way of coping through everything, and glass blowing is everything to me now. So
a lot of the students that I work with, the population that I work with, it's a big deal for them to even come to school, to show up to school.
As much as we use glass to hook the kids and to get the kids to come up in here every day, that's not really why we're here. Our goal isn't to turn all of these students into glass artists and populate it's to, you know, make them better citizens and hopefully find something in themselves that they didn't see before.
So I started the program when I was 12. Growing up, it was really hard. I went through a lot, and Glass was always my go-to. This is my home. It's my family. Being that struggling kid, and then now being on the other side and being able to be there for the kids, it's a really cool feeling.
We've become sort of a family in here, and we help them through that tough time of being 12 up to 19 years old. So
it's a really friendly place. All the teachers really nice. It's like another family that you can have.
I think it's made me a better person because I'm excited to go to school.
Feeling like they're creative is an important skill, I think, these days, in order to, with the changing world and the economy and everything the way it is, to be able to constantly, you know, create a problem solver, reinvent yourself. I think that's what art does, and I think it's one of the wonderful skills that it provides these kids. Within a couple of weeks, they're making these beautiful objects that they take home, and their family and their friends see them and are oohing and eyeing and wondering, like, you made that? How did you even do that? That's amazing. So suddenly there's this pride in what they're doing, and you know, they've overcome this fear of the heat and the kind of the intimidation factor of the glass blowing, and now they're actually creating things. And then as they stay involved with the program, they get to pass those skills on to their friends, show their friends what they know, mentor, and all those things. And so you can turn kids on to going to college. You can turn kids on to education in a way that they never thought was possible before. And I think that's the future that these kids have.
Excellent. That is a fun video. Okay, a couple of things that I want to point out, and I'm going to take these off because I'm not making any glass. The young person in the video that said, "Oh, I didn't know if I want to be an artist. I think artists are kind of phony." Jacob? So Jacob is a recent graduate of Alfred University with a bachelor's in glass. He has worked part-time here. Yes, that deserves a round of applause. He's done some part-time work here at the museum, and then this fall he is starting as our after-school program staff person, starting in September. And so, super proud of Jacob. And then the instructor that was in the video, Greg retired 2 years ago, but Greg had worked at Hilltop Artists for 26 years. And so he had basically taught every Hilltop artist up until when he retired. And so pretty amazing. You heard a couple of people, students and staff, say Hilltop Artists is like a family. And, you know, sometimes a family can be a really happy thing. Sometimes it's not. But we try to be a really safe, creative space for young people with a lot of caring mentors and adults. And the way that we do that well is by having a fantastic staff team. And our staff, they're my #1 resource. It's great that we work with kids and we do the programming that we do, but if I didn't have a fantastic team, I wouldn't be able to do that. And so here we are at the Governor's Mansion getting the Washington State Organization of the Year Award with our students and some of our staff. One thing that's really special about our staff, well, there's lots of special things. And I want to point out over here, the picture on the left, Dale Tahuli is sitting in the front. On the left-hand side, and I don't know that this thing works. Oh, Chris, what did it? Okay, that's Trenton. So if you were in here earlier and you saw the program manager, Trenton, that's Trent in high school. And then next to Trent is Sam, who you saw in the video. She's one of our daytime instructors. Next to her is Jessica, who's our program director. And then in the back is Jason McDonald, who you might have seen on Blown Away Season 2. And so one of the significant things about our staff team is 7 of our 9 teachers are alumni of our program. And so that's really exciting. They learn at Hilltop, they go away to college or to work in other studios, and then they come back like really skilled boomerangs to work at Hilltop Artists. Some of them have been there for almost 20 years. On the left side, or on the right side, I'm sorry, Tony, who's in the white mask. Tony was the first local intern here at the Museum of Glass in 2002. So that's when I met Tony. He's our lead instructor at Silas High School. Incredible. Got Sam and Sasha, Luis, Jessica, Tony, Trent, and then in the bottom you got Greg in the middle. Greg taught Tony, and Tony taught Trent. And that's how Hilltop Artists rolls. And then sometimes our staff look like that. And so that's Emily and Doug making the same face. We do like to have a good time at Hilltop. Here we are up at Pilchuck. Now, a little bit about our programs. We have daytime in-school electives, and so if you go to Hilltop Heritage Middle School or to Silas High School, you can take glass blowing or glass making as your art elective. When you're in that class, you learn 3 different types of glass making. You learn hot glass blowing, flame working with a torch, and fusion. So that's fusing flat room temperature glass. And you do that at the middle and the high school level. You can kind of see here, that's flame working on the right, fusion on the left, blowing in the middle. During our daytime program, we have 18-week semesters. Every 6th week, we have an artist that is in residence. And so here we have Jason Christian. He came and did demonstrations at school. He made a dragon and a bunch of really big umbrellas. And these residencies are really exciting for our students because they get to see master craftsmen doing their thing. So there's Martin Ninetsky, Joe Rosano, Dante Marioni. We are in a really specialized, rarefied position that we can ask some of these incredible artists down to demonstrate for our young people. We also have an after-school program, and that's at both the middle school and the high school level. These programs are for enrichment, and students can come from any school in the district. They can come from anywhere in Tacoma, Pierce County. If they can get to the class and they've signed up, they can take the class. All of our classes and programs are tuition free. And so we often have students that would come from Franklin Pierce or Bethel. We have a lot of really dedicated parents and grandparents who drive their students to our after-school program. And if your student is interested, you can always look on our website, hilltopartist.org, and look at our class offerings and sign up. These are some of our after-school activities: making edible waffles, making glass waffles, glass apples. In the summer, we have glass arts programs, and it's like the after-school program. It's enrichment, and it's for any students that are interested. Once again, it is tuition free, and we do, let's see, at the middle school level, we do 3 two-week sessions that are Monday through Thursday, 6 hours a day. And so it's a highly concentrated program. And that's a change from what we used to offer in the past. We used to offer just little taster classes that were 4 days a week and 2-hour blocks. But we changed it up this year, and we're really, really pleased with the results. And our students are just so happy to get so many hours in the studio and such a concentrated experience. And so we're definitely trading off the quantity of numbers of how many students we serve by serving a smaller group, but way more in-depth. During COVID, you can imagine what it was like for an education program that was all kinesthetic learning to make that shift. And so what we did was We cried for 3 weeks, and then we pulled ourselves together and developed some curriculum that we could offer online. And we did a history of glass curriculum, and then we also did really simple activities that students could do at home. We put activity kits together. We gave our students all the art materials that they needed to make the different activities, and then they got together during the online curriculum to make them. We partnered with Alchemy Skateboards to make skateboard decks as well. That was a really popular activity. These are the kits about to go out to kids' houses. Katie had mentioned our Arts Connect program. When I was here at the Museum of Glass before it opened in 2001, I was working with Susan Warner, who's right here in the audience. We developed a program called the Raymond Hall Women's Project, where we worked with young women who were in maximum security detention at Raymond Hall, Pierce County Juvenile Court. And back then, the program was conducted in maximum security. I would go in and teach 3 days a week with an artist team. And back then, there was an average of like 22 girls in max at any one time. Raymond Hall Women's Project was a precursor for the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative, of which Pierce County has 9 programs. And so in the intervening 20 years, these intervention programs are so successful that now it's 0 in maximum security. The average is 0 girls in maximum security. So all of our programs are offered outside when the girls are on probation and parole. And so we offer Arts Connect, which has glass and multi-arts programming. We work with young women on, or in the criminal side of the court that are in diversion, on probation. We work with girls in the dependency side of the court, the civil side of the court, in foster care and truancy, and in preventive situations. And we offer this program. We offer 4 10-week sessions each year. And once again, tuition free. We get a lot of help from the court. We get a lot of probation officers that help us to deliver the programming. And one of the heaviest lifts that they do is they transport the young women to the program, because the biggest barrier to participation is transportation. We also offer wraparound services. We have an outreach services manager who helps our students access any kind of support that they need. If they need glasses, if they need tutoring, if they need housing, any of those things, we connect youth to what they want and what they need. And that is something that's really unique about our arts program. We have team production, Friday production, and alumni team. These 3 teams do what you saw them doing earlier. They make things that we sell to support the program. And so these students, the ones that you saw out here today, when they make these things for production, they earn a scholarship. It's not indentured servitude. They earn a scholarship for doing this. And then we sell the items, and then that goes to pay for their scholarships, and they make things and we sell them, and it's a virtuous circle. And during COVID, we weren't allowed to have students younger than 18 in our buildings. Our hot shops are in 2 school buildings. And so we accelerated the development of our alumni program. And we started working with our 18 to 26-year-olds. And we do entrepreneurship training. We teach them like how to get a bank account, how to get a business bank account, how to think about like creating a product to sell at craft fairs. And we bring in different artists that have like production lines as well as their artistic work. And so we've been doing that since COVID. And it's really hugely successful. And our older alumni come and mentor our younger students, and it's just amazing. I would recommend coming to watch it sometime. If you're ever in Tacoma, you can give us a call. You can come see. You can come see the magic happen at Hilltop. So some of our alumni team. making pumpkins. This is how we spend a goodly portion of our time, is making pumpkins. In the fall, we sell 750 pumpkins. 400 at the luncheon and 350 at the pumpkin patches. Chris, I pushed the button and thanks. Next video.
My name is David Rios, and I'm a Hilltop artist. I am an alumni. I've been part of this program ever since I was in 8th grade. Why do I love Hilltop Artists? There's so many reasons why I support Hilltop Artists. It's a home for many students, a place, a safe zone where we can express ourselves freely without being worried about how we're seen. The staff, my God, the staff is incredible. They are able to connect youth with a diverse array of staff members. If you're having home problems, there's someone there. If you can't find food to eat, there's someone there at Hilltop Artists to help you, guide you, so you won't be lost. That's why I love Hilltop Artists. They've done just an incredible job of bringing together the right community with the youth that we have going through these steps. What I miss about being in the hotshop studio is the vibes, the positivity. I've been in numerous hot shops now, and the atmosphere that Hilltop Artists creates is like none other. Back in 2015, when I was graduating from high school, I was awarded an ambassador scholarship to go to Biot, France with Hilltop Artists. Bonjour, je m'appelle David. This was the first time that I or any of my family had ever left the United States to go to Europe. It was an incredible moment for me, and I can't express how grateful I was for that opportunity and how it really opened my eyes. One story that I really wanted to focus on was failure. Oh man, I messed up a lot. Now, this is a story to many young glassblowers. Don't let failure ever put you down. The first few days that I was there with Antoine Pirini, I broke a lot of pieces. Now, I brought over a punty, and as we remember, the punty is just a transfer rod to a glass piece that can make it really, it's a really make or break situation. I wasn't really bringing over the best punnies, and I believe like 7 or 8 pieces broke all in one day, back to back. And man, it was a moment where you feel like you don't belong. It's a moment where you feel that you weren't meant for this. It's a moment where you almost want to just like cry and go back home. But failure is just part of the process. It's okay. No one's perfect. You're just gonna stand back up and do better. I'm happy to say that the rest of the days after the first few days, we were able to make a lot. Now, I'm not saying we did an amazing job, but at least I was able to adapt and change. And that's something that I learned right here in this school and in this hot shop, is being able to adapt and change when you face adversity.
Right on, David. He can definitely say it much better than I can. He is right now enrolled at the Center for Appalachian Craft at the University of Tennessee. He's just going into his 2nd year. Super proud of him. He has had 2 residencies at Penland Craft School. He's doing amazing, amazing things. Here's some of our team production students making centerpieces from 3 years ago. These were the COVID centerpieces, and they were gorgeous. All sold out, sorry. Some of you locals may know what Monkey Shines is. Does anybody know Monkey Shines? Right on, right on, right on. Hilltop Artists usually makes between 1,500 and 2,000 Monkey Shines each year. For those of you that are not locals, I'll let you know that Monkey Shines is a really great community art project that happens on Lunar New Year. We make these medallions and hide them all around Tacoma, and then people can hunt for them and find them, and it is really a treat and a treasure. On the left, I call those bacon-wrapped Santas or bacon-wrapped snowmen because those scarves look like bacon, and they're my favorite thing, except for the mini snowmen. Those little guys, they're only about 2.5 inches tall, and our instructor, Luis Sanchez, makes them. They're incredible. They're always the first thing to sell at the winter sale. Mark your calendars. The winter sale is always the first Saturday in December. You need to get tickets. You can get those online. Used to be back in the day, people started lining up at like 6:30 in the morning to get into the sale, and now we've kind of joined the 21st century, and you can get online tickets that are timed to get into the sale. There's Lynx and Daria, two of our wonderful alumni. These are some projects that they were experimenting with, terrariums, some bowls. And the next video is
So Hilltop is a lot more than just a glass program. And going through middle school and high school, it was just a safe community center where you can be yourself and make art. I am Jack Spitzer, and I am a student in the Hilltop Artists program. This year we're making centerpieces for our annual luncheon. This year, for our centerpieces, I designed the bowls with the help of the instructors, and we are making assorted low bowl shapes. The bowls are going to have 2 bubbles that get joined together to make the bowl, and that's called an encalmo. The bottom half of the bowl is a roller wrap in a solid color, and the top half is a transparent that matches that color, and the lip wrap matches the bottom color wrap. When I was in middle school and I started in the Hilltop Artists program, and I loved it, and I moved into the after-school program. You know, I enjoy woodworking and working on cars and glass blowing, so I'm super hands-on, and I really enjoy challenging things, skilled, you know, the woodworking, fine woodworking, and the technical mechanics, and glass blowing is extremely technical and skillful, and that's really what attracts me to it, is being really good and kind of being able to control the bubble. I learned from older kids in the program that were mentors, and that's kind of what happens when you go through the program, is you kind of start as a student and kind of work your way up, and you really become a mentor to the younger kids. And I try to do my best to be a positive, you know, influence and kind of role member to the younger kids. And I learned that from the museum team, you know, because that's kind of what they do to us. They are mentors, and they, you know, teach us glass blowing and communication and teamwork. And it's really important in the hot shop to have good communication and teamwork. And if you watch us, you'll notice we're always talking and communicating about timing and the process and what's next, and, you know, starting the next piece before we finish the final product. This year, I have decided I am going to pursue glass blowing and be a glass blower and live the dream. So, got to figure out how to do it, and you know, those are just the small details. But it's been yeah, kind of trying to, you know, think about pursuing glass or not. And I think at this point, I kind of have to. I enjoy it so much. I have to try to do it. So Hilltop is a lot.
Okay, as Yoda says, do or do not, there is no try, right? So on weekends, Jack assists Dante Marioni in Seattle. He recently got to go to Aruba with Jason Christian, who had made that dragon and those umbrellas that we showed earlier. He got to go to Aruba for 3 weeks and assist Jason Christian. He is doing some internships up at Pilchuck, and he is living the dream. And so What you can put your mind to, if you can dream it and you can see it, you can achieve it, right, Katie? Okay, we do other things. If you can imagine that we got to do 6 programs and all the stuff we do other projects too. We contribute to Empty Bowls, which is a project with Emergency Food Network. We do an open studio tour as part of the Tacoma Arts Month. This year, I think our studio date open house, it's either the 14th or the 15th of October. And so that would be at Hilltop Heritage at our hot shop there, and it'll be from 10 to 5. Check out our events page. You can get all the details there. National Summer Learning Week, we bring in all of our elected officials that can come and see what we're doing and support us. That is Idaho Based Camp in the bottom right-hand corner. That is an outdoor recreation place for, I think it's 12 and up, folks that are 12 and up. And that Bora Basin Community Center, it was totally cutting edge, all green materials. It was an incredible building, and they asked us to do that rainbow installation, which is pretty cool. On third Thursdays, you can find us right here at the Museum of Glass from 5 to 8. And third Thursdays is the public evening, and so that's free to all of our friends and family in the community. So come on down and see our students. Arts Night Out, sorry you missed it. It was just this last Tuesday. We had 487 people at Hilltop Heritage. We had pizza and burritos and t-shirt making and DJ Midnight Mike and all the things. And this was our 13th year doing Arts Night Out, and it was our most successful ever. And so mark your calendars, next year, the first Tuesday in August, we'll be doing it again. Fuse Together is a new project that we are doing in collaboration with Communities for a Healthy Bay, where we are going out to different Tacoma public libraries in the South End and doing a fuse tile project and learning about the environment and water ecology. And then we're building these tiles and making stained glass windows that we're putting into the libraries. And so, once again, check the events page on our calendar. Pilchuck residencies. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Pilchuck Glass School up in Stanwood, but that is our sister organization. That organization was also founded by Dale Chihuly. And so we do a lot of programming with them. And twice a year, we take groups of students up there. In the fall, we take 30 kids for 3 days. And in the spring, we go up and work with Better Together, which is a collective of African-American artists that do a week-long residency at Pilchuck. We also work with Crafting the Future. Crafting the Future is a nonprofit that provides experiences, travel experiences, and educational experiences for BIPOC students. And so they have twice let us take 5 students to the University of Tennessee to do a takeover of their craft studios with teenagers from around the country, and these are for young teens. They're for 15 to 18-year-olds. And then we also go to Penland and other craft schools with Crafting the Future. As David said in his video, he went to France. It's because we have a program called the Biot Ambassador Program. Biot is our sister city in France, and so we send a student each summer to work with Antoine Pierini at his studio in Biot. Autonoma is another group that we partner with. They're based out of Murano, Italy, and they just held the first International Youth Glass Conference at Pilchuck last month. And so that was really super exciting. And then Glass Impact is an organization that we founded during COVID. It's 9 different public glass studios. We get together every month online and just talk about things that are important to successfully running our business, and we learn from each other, and it's a really great program. Last year, we did an unprecedented thing at the Tacoma Art Museum. Trenton Kiocho, who you saw working down here, curated an exhibition called Gather, 27 Years of Hilltop Artists. And it was amazing. There were like 35 pieces of art by 21 different artists at the Tacoma Art Museum. A lot of these are our current students and staff that were in the show. Neon, flame working, sculpting, painting. It was beautiful. Here's a video of Trenton. Is this gonna go? Chris?
My name is Trenton Kiocho, and I'm from Tacoma, Washington. This week, I'm exploring Filipino textile and traditional fish traps and motifs, and kind of reimagining traditional forms and sculptures into a new body of work made out of glass, kind of honoring my Filipino heritage. So I think the fish traps, just in general, just the shapes are they're really interesting. And then you throw in the texture and the patterns of the elements of it woven together. It's like individually they look good. If you just separate them together, it looks even better. But I'm learning a lot in the residency because part of me is like, maybe I should just focus on the form. Part of me is like, focus on the pattern. So it's like, it's a lot of new ideas that I've never worked on. Got another small chunk, and then body's all gonna be one piece. Yeah, but the legs I want brung as bits. So there'd be a body and legs on the body. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking we just turn that. I kind of want to do like the sitting form. So I don't know, like basically like take that, kind of pull it into like a flattened piece. I don't know, like a Z almost, you know what I mean? And then the head goes on here, you know, for it. I think it's hot enough still. All over, hit it. I take a weird approach sometimes, and like I just make what I want to make. It kind of comes off the fly, and there will be some sketches and you know, color application, like deciding what colors I'm going to use. But for the most part, it's kind of freestyle, and then I'll make something, and then it won't work out very well the first time, and then it's like the second time it works out great, and then the third time it went back a step. But it's always nice to go back to previous ideas and kind of build off of those. Yeah, I think being a teacher or an educator, it can be difficult at times because, you know, kids are mean, and it's hard to reach them. But it's these relationships that you build with these people over, you know, 6-7 years sometimes, and it just kind of grows, and they start off as your students, and then eventually they become your friends. And you know, a lot of them, you know, came in at 13 and now they're 22. Yeah, let's do that. Make a big wide collar. And you know, there's always ones that like give you hard times, but you know, there's always a few cases where they come back and thank you. You don't always get that, but like that definitely makes you want to do it more. You know, having an opportunity to come here and work with the all-star team, you know, Sarah, Gabe, and Ben, it's definitely a huge step in my career. I mean, and coming up through as a young person coming in here at 15, and then now 15 years later being the person at the center bench as the artist has been kind of similar.
My name is Trent Keel.
Right on, Trenton. I'm so incredibly proud of him. I don't know if you've seen Netflix's Blown Away series, but Trenton was in season 3, in addition to being our production manager and doing that incredible exhibition. He had a really busy year last year. I mentioned earlier, Better Together is a collective of African American artists from around the country that does a residency up at Pilchuck. One of the founders of that is Thurman Statham, who's standing with me in the center. He is one of the original instructors and students, actually, at Pilchuck back in '73, I think. And he's been around and connected to Pilchuck since then. He's on the board. He does a lot of great stuff for Hilltop Artists. These are some of our students. I'd like to point out over here on the right, that is Xavier making a promposal. He made the bowl and he wrote prom, ? And he gave it to the gal and she said yes, just so's you knows. Last year, we hosted the Glass Art Society Conference here in Tacoma. We had a great party at Hilltop Artists where we made quick sculptures doing the magic stick process. And you can see Corey kind of on the ground rolling his glass. And then this over on the right is a piece that Better Together did with some of our students right here in the Museum of Glass hotshop. These are some of our students and our friends from across the country that came to the conference. And that is my last slide. And so just some thoughts I want to kind of leave you with is that Hilltop Artists is definitely a youth development program. Yes, we're an arts organization. We teach young people how to make art. But at the core of what we do is teaching core skills to thrive and succeed in life. And so it's about teaching communication through the team building that is making glass and having adult mentors that can really support young people for the long haul. We have lots of students that are in our program for 10 years or more. And so we take this mentorship really seriously. Like I had said earlier, we have an outreach services manager. And so we are really working with the whole child, the whole person, to ensure as much of their success as we can. And so we're just that little bit different, a little bit quirky compared to other arts programs. But I tell you, I love my job. I just got back from a 3-month sabbatical, which was really great. I got to rest and everything, but this is the right job for me because I get to do the youth development that I've been doing since 1992 and all the museum and the art that I've been doing, and I get to use my sociological and culture studies PhD every day. And I'm just so glad that I could go around the world and come back home to Tacoma and find such a great fit. And so I feel incredibly blessed to be here today talking to you about my favorite thing, Hilltop Artists. Thank you for coming out. I don't know if you had any questions, but thank you.
I believe we have a couple minutes for questions. If anybody would like to ask Dr. Kim a question about Hilltop or what we're doing in the hot shop this week, I'm up here with the microphone if anybody has a question. I guess that's it. Thank you so much, Dr. Keith, for everything you're doing for our community, for all the energy that Hilltop has brought this week. It's been really incredible. If you love the rainbow centerpieces that you see in front of you, Better Futures Luncheon is on October 10th. October 10th, and I believe they'll have registration and invitations up on their website shortly?
Yes, it's up on our website, and you can also ask Mylan or Charlie or Katie that are out in the front lobby.
So thank you, and thank you very much for everything you brought to the Hot Shop this week. And thank you all so much for staying for our artist talk. Let's give Kim a round of applause.
Thank you all. Thanks for coming out today.
And the students in our Hot Shop team are going to come back out and get back to work in about 10 minutes. So if you'd like to take a break, our cafe is open, the galleries are beautiful, and they'll be continuing their centerpiece work through the afternoon.
Yes, and you'll have Jack and Trenton and some of the people you saw in the video. So if you have questions for them, please ask them.